that's enough of that. That is enough of that fight song. All right. I'm not the most technically sound guy, so you're going to have to take a look at my basement wall every single time I do that. So I feel it's nice, though, for the fans that they get to hear their fight song before we do. Those Clemson's right there. So that leads us to number 2, Clemson, a team that made the college football playoff last year. Lost to Alabama in a slugfest game. Their offense couldn't get anything going. In the post-Deshaun Watson era, of course, they won a national championship with him and have had so many good battles with Alabama in the past. Okay, so just for a little preview, Kelly Bryant was named the starter, so they have some senior leadership there. He was named over Trevor Lawrence, who was like the #1 recruit. Between him and Justin Fields, you could flip-flop on websites. The running back position, Travis Etienne, Tavon Feaster, two really talented guys, both kind of similar players. Speed, the offensive line, still led by Mitch Hyatt at left tackle. He's rock solid. They got a couple of starters back there. On the defensive line, I mean, it's an NFL defensive line. Austin Bryant, Christian Wilkins, Dexter Lawrence, and Farrell there. All 4 of them could be first-round picks. Probably all 4 will be first-round picks. And honestly, other than Wisconsin, I don't know one offensive line that's going to be able to handle them. So that'll be the strength of their team. I expect them to be very dominant this year. I expect them, like I said, to be very dominant. For the rest of the defense, I mean, it's just full of 4-star recruits, basically. You got Tanner Muse, Trevon Mullen in the secondary. Just going to be a strong year for Clemson. I have them, as you'll see, going really far this year. And so, yeah, let's get going. All right, so to the schedule. First week 1, they usually start off with a FCS game. I know they played the Citadel in the past. This year, no different with Furman. Poor Furman, 63-0 Clemson. I don't know how they're going to be able to block them. I mean, those 4 combined on the defensive line could combine for 12 sacks. Honestly, this game, good luck blocking them. Have fun. The next game is at Texas A&M. Kind of an interesting game. You go down to College Station. Jimbo is very familiar with Clemson. Coached against them, obviously. He's familiar with Dabo's system. So I think it will be, not a blowout. I think it will be an interesting game. But for Texas A&M, it's only his first year there. I got them winning 38-17. I think it will be, close within 10-14 the whole game. But I think Clemson holds that with their defense and then ends up getting another touchdown at the end. Then we go to Georgia Tech. Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern, there's not much to say there. I got Clemson winning 49-7. Then we have Georgia Tech, and they're at Georgia Tech. This will be a very interesting game. Anytime you play a triple option team, you can ask my Irish versus Navy. It's a possession game, and you have to make the most of it. And although the only thing with Clemson is the strength is their defensive line, and they have 4 of them. So I think they will be able to kind of contain the Georgia Tech offense, maybe get some 3-and-outs, not let them control the whole game. Georgia Tech, though, Taquan Marshall is a great quarterback. They have fully loaded with running backs as usual. Their offensive line won't be great, and that's why I think the difference will be. I think Georgia Tech keeps it close for the most part, but I think Clemson wins 31-20 going to Georgia Tech. Syracuse, high-powered offense. I'm familiar with them. They played Notre Dame this year. They played them a couple years ago at MetLife. Eric Dungy's back at quarterback. They lost their 2 best receivers last year. One of them was Ishmael, I think. They were very explosive. Him and the other one, I forget his name. They combined for like 180 catches, I think, something like that. It was insane. Their offense is explosive. Their defense is terrible, though. I think they put up some points versus Clemson. They beat Clemson last year up at the Carrier Dome. Kelly Bryant did get banged up, but Syracuse earned that win. They played great even before he got hurt. I got Clemson winning 49-28. Then we go to at Wake Forest. Wake Forest, I'm familiar with them as well. They played at Notre Dame last year. They had some good quarterback play last year. I don't see it being a very close game, though. I think Wake's not a bad team, but I got Clemson by 21. I got them winning 42-21 in this game, even though it's at Wake. NC State, they lost a lot on the defensive line last year. Bradley Chubb, a couple other guys got drafted. Familiar with them as well. They played Notre Dame last year. Notre Dame ran all over them. That was a great game for us, and I think Clemson will be able to do the same, as NC State lost a lot. I got Clemson winning 38-17. Then it's the big one for Clemson in the ACC. They're at Florida State. They're kind of flying under the radar this year. Willie Taggart, I think, is a pretty good coach. Maybe a little overrated. Florida State jumped on him very quickly, but I think Florida State's really flying under the radar. Their offensive line, though, is terrible, and that will be the difference in this game. But, I mean, they are loaded all over the place with talent. Of course, we've seen through the years Jalen Ramsey. They lost Derwin James last year. On offense, though, Cam Akers is a monster at running back, and they got Jack, what's his name, like Jocks. The other running back they have, he's good. He ran for like 800, I think, last year. He'd be a 1,000-yard rusher on any other team. Naquan Murray at wide receiver. Francois back. That's if he doesn't get killed because of his offensive line. In this game, he might. Obviously, the 4 guys for Clemson are going to put a lot of pressure on him. I got Clemson winning a pretty close game, 31-17, even though it's at Doak Stadium. You're going to hear a lot of that stupid war chant, but I think Clemson wins by 14. Then we go to Louisville. I've already talked about them versus Alabama. Lamar Jackson was that team. He's had weapons. Jalen Smith is still there. They lost the tight end a couple years ago. Hicatini was his name. I don't think this game's close. I kind of feel bad for Louisville. They play the 2 best teams in the country. I got Clemson winning 45-20. So I think Louisville puts up some points, but I got Clemson winning. Then they go to up to where I am. I'm actually from Boston. They go to Heights. They go to BC. And that will not be an easy game in Chestnut Hill. A.J. Dillon is a monster at running back, and BC is going to have a good defense and an offensive line. I think BC will be able to have their ground game. I think they'll keep the ground game going, and I think it will actually be kind of a tight game for the most part. I think the difference for Clemson is that they are more explosive on offense. Kelly Bryant is going to have a big game for them. They won't put up a ton of points, but I don't think BC will be able at the end to keep up with Clemson's skill positions. BC's D play is good, but I got Clemson winning 28-10. Then it's Duke. Sorry, if it's not on the basketball court, Mike Krzyzewski's coaching. They don't got a chance. 45-10 Clemson. Then we go to South Carolina. Last year, South Carolina was embarrassed at home by Clemson. Got absolutely demoralized, 61-3. That was brutal. And I think South Carolina will be better this year. Muschamp has another year with this team. Some more talent came in their recruiting class. They're going to be a little young, but I got Clemson winning 35-20. I think for South Carolina, that's a good game for them going to Death Valley. But I got Clemson winning this game by 15 and going 12-0 in the regular season and going to the ACC championship. So there's one team going to the ACC championship game. We got Bama in the SEC championship. So we'll see how it plays out.